Imagine you're having a conversation with someone who feels stuck in their current beliefs. They're caught in a pattern of thinking, trapped by old rules and limitations. They believe they have to be a certain way, do things a certain way, to protect themselves, to keep themselves safe from the world's judgments. It's all based on experiences, stress, trauma, exhaustion, that led them to disconnect, to check out, to live in a way that doesn't truly serve them. It's time to help them to realise they can break free. Start the conversation. Elicit, pace, lead and connect. We can start with the words they use. Listen carefully. They'll describe the same belief, the same concept you've experienced, but in their own way. Your job is to listen. Listen closely. You're hearing their reality, their language. As they talk, you're pacing. You might hear phrases like, "I've always thought I'm not good enough. I've always tried to prove myself. I always thought I had to control everything." Notice the pattern in their language. These are beliefs they've created, rules they've lived by. These rules have limited them. But what if you could take their beliefs and start opening new doors for them? What if you could show them how these beliefs, these rules, they're only ever illusions, constructs of the mind? So we can use the meta-model questions to dig deeper and to find the roots. You begin by gently questioning those generalizations, those always and never statements. You can feel their resistance, but it's okay. It's all part of the process. And you ask, you're not challenging them. You're simply opening their perception. Is it true for every situation? Or are there moments when that belief doesn't apply? What would happen if you let go of the need to control everything? What if you didn't have to prove anything to anyone? By simply asking these questions, you're beginning to dismantle the walls they've built. You're giving them permission to explore the space outside those walls, to see there's more than one way to live their life. Then you can reframe and offer new perspectives. This is where the real magic begins. The reframe. They've lived with the idea that they need to control, suppress and disconnect. What if those beliefs are just habits? What if there's a different way? You could say something like, what if the feeling of needing control is actually a sign there's a part of you that wants to grow, to be free? What if by letting go of some of the old rules, you could create space for new possibilities, new choices? Can you see how, in releasing those limiting beliefs, you open up a whole new world of experiences? As they hear this, they begin to feel the possibility. They start to see the cracks in their old beliefs. They begin to question, just for a moment, whether those beliefs are really serving them. And the more you keep speaking in this open, expansive way, the more they realise maybe they don't have to hold on to these old beliefs anymore. Then you can use a pattern interrupt to break the old loop. So now it's time for a shift, a break in the old thinking patterns. A small, seemingly simple question. It can cause a huge shift. It disrupts their mental loop. What would happen if you allowed yourself to not worry about what others think of you? If there were no consequences, would you still feel the need to prove yourself? What's the cost of holding onto these old beliefs? Is it worth it? These questions disrupt the usual pattern of thought. They can feel the tension start to release, even if just a little bit. Their mind is no longer so sure about everything that they believed for so long. They start seeing things from a different angle. At this point, you can use metaphors to really deepen the change. When we speak metaphorically, the unconscious mind listens differently. It doesn't need to understand every detail. It simply feels the truth of the metaphor. You've probably felt like you were walking through a dense forest. With every tree, a new rule or belief you had to follow. And at times, it felt like you couldn't see the sky, couldn't see the path ahead. But what if, Instead of trying to push through every obstacle, you just stopped and waited for the fog to lift, for the sun to break through, and for the path to reveal itself. Imagine you're holding a heavy rock in your hand. You've carried it for so long, it feels like it's part of you. But what if, just for a moment, you could put it down? What would it feel like to let go of that weight? To feel the freedom in your hands? These metaphors, they connect to the deeper experience, bypassing the critical mind and speaking directly to the unconscious. The image of the fog lifting or putting down the heavy rock, these resonate with their own experience, but with a subtle invitation to release the burdens they've been carrying. The polya patterns of plausibility to build credibility and certainty. You could further anchor the new belief by using polya patterns of plausibility. This method draws upon the idea that we tend to believe things that are plausible, that make sense to us on some level. It makes perfect sense you developed these patterns over time. You've been doing what you thought was best for yourself, protecting yourself. But now you've the power to make new choices. Your brain is incredibly adaptable, and with every new thought, you're rewiring the way you see yourself, the world, and your potential. By reframing the change as both plausible and within their control, you reinforce this isn't something out of reach. It's a natural evolution, a process of growing, adapting, and shifting into something more expansive. You can reinforce with positive psychology. You want to instill a core belief, one that truly serves them and encourages their ongoing growth. This new belief is powerful, freeing, and full of possibility. You want them to feel excited, energetic, and motivated by their transformation. Imagine, just for a moment, if you're completely free from the need to prove anything. What would you do with that freedom? What could you create? You're capable of so much more than you allowed yourself to believe. And with each new step, you unlock more and more of your potential. There's always more to learn, always room to grow. And you're already on the path to something amazing. And as you release those old rules and beliefs, you begin to find your own energy, your real authentic energy. So what people remember about you, it's not about what you say, it's about how you make them feel. And by embracing your true self, you can make everyone you meet feel good, without needing their approval, because you already approve of yourself. This is where you lock the belief in, that they're enough, that they don't need validation from others. Their inner confidence, their energy, their humour, all of this becomes their strongest asset. And close the loop with a final pattern interrupt. As the conversation comes to a close, you drop a final question to seal the change. What if you can let go of everything that no longer serves you and simply trust yourself to move forward, with nothing holding you back? Because when you think about it, isn't it easier to move towards something that you want, rather than trying to escape something you fear? You've opened the door, and now they can walk through it. You've shifted their perception, reframed their limiting beliefs, and empowered them with new possibilities. And in doing so, you've set them on a path of lasting change. So the summary: wax, rinse, repeat. Elicit, pace, lead, connect, pattern interrupt, and repeat the process. Elicit, pace, lead, connect, and a pattern interrupt. Every time you reinforce their new belief and the new possibilities they have, the more you strengthen that shift. By using the meta-model questions, reframing techniques, metaphors, and pattern interrupts, you create an ongoing flow of change. Each time you do this, the new belief takes a deeper root, and the person you're working with moves closer to living the life they always wanted, but were too afraid to believe that they could have. And in doing so, you not only help them, but you transform your own reality as well. You become the embodiment of the belief that everything you need is already within you, don't you?